Hey, Fellowship family. As many of you know and have heard by now, the governor of the state of Ohio has issued a mask mandate for the entire state. Now, I know that this is going to bring up a lot of emotions and thoughts and feelings in all of you in all different directions. So I wanted to take a few moments to help us together think through how should we think and respond to this as Christians and followers of Jesus. First, God has called us to submit to governing authorities. Whether we like them, agree with them, or not, we're called to submit to our government. Romans chapter 13, starting in verse 1, says this: "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed." All right? So, Paul, who wrote this in a time when the governing authorities were dragging Christians out of their homes, burning them alive, killing them, throwing them in the Colosseum to be eaten by lions. And Paul, God through Paul, was still calling them to submit to governing authorities. The text goes on to explain that God has put government in place ultimately for our good, to promote justice and for our good. And so if Paul said to Christians then to submit to the governing authorities, how much more so, or how much easier is it for us now to look at our governing authorities and to gladly submit, because God has placed our government for our good. Number two, our culture has been hotly debating masks over the past few weeks, and there's been articles and arguments all over the place about, are they helpful or are they not? The science has been all over the place. But here's what we know. Masks don't hurt me. And two, masks don't necessarily help prevent me from getting the disease, but they do prevent me from giving it to someone else. So it's not an issue of my preference of wanting to wear a mask or not. It's not an issue of my risk tolerance of getting the disease or not. It is an issue of loving our neighbors. It is an issue of me spreading this disease to the most vulnerable and at-risk people around me. So as Christians, we don't come at this and say, well, I like it or don't like it. We come at it to say, what is the path of least regret? What can I do? What inconvenience can I put on that will help save and protect the lives of others, particularly the most vulnerable amongst us? So we wear masks to love and serve others. So we wear masks because, one, we submit to our governing authorities. Two, it is an issue of loving our neighbor. And three, because Jesus calls us to go above and beyond. You may remember in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus said these words: "And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles." Now, in Jesus' day, if a Roman centurion or a Roman citizen came to you, they could force you. They could say, hey, I'm going to this place. And they could force you to take you there, but they could only force you to go 1 mile with them. So what Jesus is saying to them is, don't just do what the law requires. Don't just do the bare minimum. Don't just go 1 mile. Go the extra mile. Go 2 miles. Even when someone is forcing you to do something you don't want to do, go the second mile. And so, when our government asks us to do something, as Christians, we don't complain, we don't argue, we don't cry about it. We go the second mile. And when our brothers and sisters and neighbors and the world need us to serve and care for them, we don't do the bare minimum. We go above and beyond. We go the extra mile to love them well. So, church, let this not deter us. Let us continue to gather together as the body of Christ with our brothers and sisters, raising our voices together, singing to the King of Glory, sitting under the preaching of His word, and fellowshipping with our brothers and sisters. Let us be the people, church, who show the world what our Father is like, not by complaining or arguing or making a big stink by what is required of us, but by being the people who go the second mile, but by being the people who carry our cross. If we can carry a cross for a lifetime as followers of Jesus, certainly we can wear a mask for a moment. So church, let's gather together on Sunday. Now let me say this. If you are 10 years old or under 10 years old, you don't have to wear a mask. If you have a medical condition that prevents you from breathing right, you don't have to wear a mask. But if that's not you, come with a smile on your face. Come excited to be in the presence of the Lord. Bring your mask. If you don't have one, we will provide one for you, and we will see you Sunday ready to worship. See you then.